street from where Philip lives used to be a place where he and his family would go for picnics. Philip had many pleasant memories of the time he spent there. These memories invoked feelings of joy, appreciation, and acceptance. However, recently several people were robbed, one was seriously hurt while at the park. Now Philip and his family are afraid to go there. Have you ever felt a certain way about a person, place, or thing at one time and let your feelings change?
I can't stand it. Because people stereotype, or some people stereotype it as, it's a word I can't stand it. Oh my God. I cannot stand
Their emotions?
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Like, if you feel one way and then you change it, I'm like, well, I just changed my mind. That's how I feel of it. Like, I'm just changing my mind just because I felt something, but they put that stupid label on it, fake, and I'm like,
Well, no, that's not fake at all, because as we've seen, emotions are, that's normal.
Yeah.
You may feel some way and then something else may trigger it. Maybe someone did something. And just like how we learned in here, you may go to a park that you really love, but there's been violence occurring in the area, so that may be something you would want to stay away from. Okay, so.
Or people.
Or people. Or people. That's true as well. Okay? So, but it doesn't matter if your emotions are positive, negative, or mixed. It's all in the way that you respond to those feelings. Okay? It's all in the way that you respond to those feelings. So keep in mind that emotions strongly influence how we conduct ourselves. Although emotions can occur almost instantaneously, as we've probably all experienced, say 1 minute, like that. Just like how our thoughts are in and out, in and out, in and out, right? It's important to remember that you have the ability to consider how you should respond to what you feel before you take action. You do have the ability. Just like last week we learned about how you do have the ability to control which thoughts you take in and which thoughts you throw out, right? Meaning which positive thoughts you let to be accentuated, you want to be accentuated, or the negative thoughts we have a choice to throw out. Okay? Okay. Do you know that even positive emotions can be positive emotions, if we act impulsively on those positive emotions, they can actually be potentially harmful or yield consequences? So, to give you an example, say that, what's that event that occurs where this man runs up to your door with like $1 million or something like that? Big old check. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, say that you just were not, well, obviously everybody who's gotten that has completely been unaware they were going to get that. Say, for example, someone comes up to your door, that occurs to you, and you win $1 million, right? And you get so excited. You just smack the guy who's who giving you the $1 million. You just smack the person who's behind you, right? It's things like that. And similarly, even in a situation where you've even been maybe called and you received an award, and you just got so excited you knocked over an expensive vase. Now you have to use that money that you just won to replace that expensive vase, right? So you see how even positive emotions, we have to keep them in check, even excitement, right? Okay.
Or even, for example, if you're so excited about putting money, you put it all into a stock savings or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That positive
emotion.
Right, and then you just don't think rationally about what you're doing. And then it's
gone.
Yeah.
Right? Because you didn't stop, think, and consider, right? That's where applying self-control to even positive emotions. So applying self-control to even any emotion, whether it's joy, whether it's fear, whether it's excitement or anger, is a very important part of developing character, a positive character. Acting on emotions without careful consideration is called acting impulsively. And just like how we said, even in the positive sense, when we have positive emotions, right? It's called acting impulsively. Impulsive actions occur when you allow your emotions to cloud your ability to think rationally, right? To be rational means to think sensibly and wisely, having gathered enough facts to make intelligent choices. So in the character unit, we learned about the positive character trait because we learned about positive and negative character traits. And one of them was being educated. And we talked about last week, it's not necessarily having a degree. It's gathering all the facts, making sure they're correct and proven before making your choice. Okay, you got something?
Yeah, Jamaica, you said to cloud your emotion, impulsively is to cloud your emotions that you can't think clearly. Is that
So
what you
your
said?
emotions have the ability to cloud your ability to think rationally.
Rationally is clearly.
Yeah, rationally, clearly. Okay. A lack of self-control can cause even a positive emotion to result in harm to yourself, others, or like the base incident, property. Okay? So, with that being said, impulsive reactions can lead to irrational behavior. Okay? A lack of self-control leads to irrational responses. An irrational response occurs when we act on an emotion without gathering sufficient facts to make intelligent choices, like we just mentioned. Irrational behavior is triggered by negative thoughts that cause feelings like jealousy, resentment, or rage. Anyone who responds irrationally to a situation is not using self-control. Remember, we cannot do just whatever we want. No matter what age we get, even if we're an adult and we're on our own, we can't just do whatever we want. We don't have the ability to live peacefully and harmoniously if we think that we can just do whatever we want. Okay? We must always be willing to stop and consider what we are thinking, how we are feeling, right? What emotion, is it harmful? You have to stop and think, is this going to be harmful to me, mentally or physically, or is this going to be harmful to someone else, right? Such as when we let our anger get to rage and we run the risk of potentially harming someone else, okay? And then using self-control to make a choice that is positive and moral. So I want to turn your attention to the article, okay? And because of a lack of time, I'm just going to go over the article that irrational behavior can lead to death. And in this particular case, someone from Texas, this is an actual event, someone from Texas had found their husband cheating, and they ran over the husband with a car. And they were supposed to get 99 years in jail, but the judge had ruled that they acted in a sudden passion. However, running over someone more than once is not necessarily unintentional. It's not really unintentional. So that was someone who found, didn't keep their emotions in check. So of course we can only speculate, but what are some of the things that you think might have been running through her mind?
Nothing solid.
She didn't feel loved,
Didn't feel loved,
rejected.
rejected, resentment. Anger's a big one. Anger turned into rage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I know.
great. Okay. So, this brings it back to a self-control being a matter of choice, okay? Some choices we only get to make once. So that's why it's very important that we get in check those emotions, because once again, you may have a choice that you only get to make once. Like her, she made one choice and she's in jail for 20 years. Okay? Because sometimes we don't have repeated mistakes to get it right. Okay? So another thing that can help you, and if you turn the page, we're going to go over it really quickly. We're almost finished here. okay, is a thing to help you can keep those emotions in check, is to keep everything in perspective, okay? Negative thoughts and strong emotions can cloud your ability to see things in perspective, like just with that woman who ran over her husband. Her rage clouded her ability to realize, okay, if I do this, I'm gonna be locked away for a long, long time, right? And it seems like a simple and obvious common sense thought to us right now, but in a person who's acting in the heat of the moment, it's not, okay? So to see a situation in perspective means able to view things in their proper order of importance without overreacting. So have you ever heard the saying, hindsight is 20/20? Where when we're no longer emotional about a situation, we can look back and say, you know, I kind of overreacted in that situation, right? I've had many times like that, right? So hindsight is 20/20. But like I said before, sometimes we don't have an opportunity to go back, well, we don't have an opportunity to go back and change it, right? So there's a problem with thinking that hindsight is 20/20 because it's too late. By the time you look at it and say, okay, I could have acted in this such a manner, use self-control, it's too late. You could have harmed someone mentally, like we talked about last week, with a sarcastic remark, with a lash out, something of that sort, right? With disrespect, and then it's too late. Okay, you ruin that friendship or relationship. Okay, so we're just going to skip down to the bottom. And tips for keeping things in perspective. Number 1, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Okay, really keep things in perspective by realizing, okay, is this really what I'm making it out to be? Okay. Number 2, stop and ask yourself if you're responding appropriately. Okay, there goes that self-control and evaluating your choices. Stop and ask yourself if you're acting appropriately.